The next principle that we will look at is the principle of simplicity. The principle of simplicity. Let me define the principle of simplicity. I'll define it with this command. Prepare clear, uncomplicated plans and clear, concise orders to ensure thorough understanding. Again, prepare clear, uncomplicated plans and clear, concise orders to ensure thorough understanding. By now, I'm sure in your organizational life you've seen that bureaucracies are very complex. And bureaucracies have loads of paperwork, loads of policies where all of these individual people must follow them, and really the goal of following them is to preserve their own particular careers. Recently, a film let me just recommend this film to you, the film The Cartel, which is about public education in New Jersey and the bureaucracy associated with that actually injures the education offered in New Jersey. In that film, there's an example of a group of people who are trying to start a charter school, and they put together this thick document, and their application is rejected because on one page, it doesn't list that 3 positions are part-time, where in the budget it lists that they are part-time, but because it wasn't listed in both places, the whole application is rejected. Now, it explains why this occurs in the film, but my point is that and you would see this in the film, that the requirements on these people for starting these charter schools are so complex that a small error like that means that the whole project is shut down. Well, I think you can see from that really that's an excuse not to have charter schools. There's somebody in the bureaucracy who is using complexity to actually accomplish something other than having charter schools started. Okay. My point in raising this is that if we are trying to accomplish an objective, then part of our strategy ought to be simplicity. If they want to have charter schools started in New Jersey, the better thing to do is to make clear, simple, identifiable instructions so that people understand what's expected of them. Well, if you are leading an effort and you actually want things to get done, it's important that you identify clearly and concisely what those things are that should be done. Okay, you have to make sure that your strategy is simple. Now, that doesn't mean that coming to that strategy is simple, or that in leadership it's easy to identify those critical points. But in terms of actually accomplishing things in real time, it's important to think through your mission and how to achieve it in terms of things that are clear, identifiable, and that can actually get done. A great example of this is the relationship between Stonewall Jackson and Robert E. Lee in the Civil War. And this relationship that they have has actually been studied for the last 150 years in war colleges. But what Lee would do is he would give Jackson what we now call commander's intent, this order that told him, this is what I want, but Jackson was then free to strategize and to allocate his resources in order to accomplish that objective. When you give simple instructions, simple strategies, you free up those around you to then use their own creativity and their own wisdom in order to accomplish those objectives. And things change, right? We can have a changing environment where the next day something happens and now we're in a different world, but how do we still accomplish that objective? Well, by giving simple plans that are uncomplicated, that are concise, it frees up the people who are working for us to do their best. That's the principle of simplicity.